Out this location, there had been previously potentially an unknown number of gunmen still inside. There had been great concerns that certain parts of the Westgate Mall might in fact even be booby-trapped. The Kenyan Defense Forces on their Twitter account saying that 3 of their soldiers died of injuries that they had sustained over the last few days. Meanwhile, 65 people do remain missing or unaccounted for. A lot of people out there, Christy, hoping for word of their loved ones. The entire nation hoping that this horror that they have been through is going to end very, very soon, Christy.
Yes, 62 people killed, 65 people remain unaccounted for. And Ara, for those who were able to make it out, the survivors, what are they telling you about the attack?
Their stories are absolutely horrific, but we've also been hearing incredible stories of great heroism. We did meet one couple that were a husband and wife team that are in fact radio presenters at one of the local stations here. The day of the attack, they were hosting a children's cooking show on the rooftop of the Westgate Mall that was absolutely packed with kids.
Kids are just running around in their little aprons, chopping up. We heard a series of gunshots. We called everyone to the corner, all the kids and the mums and the parents and everyone. And we said, get down, get down, get down on the floor. And just as we did that, the gunman tossed a grenade to where we were. The guy with the white shirt spoke first, and he said, we're from Somali, and we don't normally kill women and children. But then again, you've killed our women and children. His colleague next to him,
thin, tall, skinny face, black
he just opened fire.
I got shot here. I had so much blood everywhere. I thought she was dead and I was holding a dead baby.
Now, they managed to get out because right after that happened, Alim, the husband there, stood up and began reciting a prayer from the Quran, and the gunman, he says, at that point, after they believed that he was a Muslim and he is a Muslim, decided to let them go. Now, Sima, his wife, is not a Muslim, but she did make a point to tell us that even though she wasn't a Muslim, both her husband and their little daughter are, and that she wanted to make sure that she brought her daughter up believing in the true principles, she said, of Islam, and that is a principle of peace. Christy.
Since our demon on the Kenyan shopping mall attack there by Al-Shabaab fighters, will be back in a moment. In sports, the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Usman Baji, has presided over the opening of a 4th Board of Directors meeting of the Organization of Military Sport in Africa. The 6-day convergence, which is underway in Banjul, is being attended by military chiefs from all over Africa. And as we hear in this report by MS Jallo, the Vice President, Aja Dr. Esetunjai Sedi, also graced the opening ceremony.
A convergence of the Board of Directors of the Organization of Military Sports in Africa, in short OSMA, got underway Tuesday morning in Banjul. The interface being hosted by the Gambia Armed Forces brought together military chiefs from all over Africa to discuss the activities of the continent's supreme body responsible for organizing sports activities amongst the continent's armed forces. Formed in May 1994 in the Guinean capital Conakry, the Organization of Military Sports in Africa promotes military sportsmanship, strengthen cordial ties and mutual understanding between member states, as well as share experiences through sports. Sports being a powerful unifying tool, the objective of the Organization of Military Sports in Africa seeks, among other things, to establish and maintain peace on the African continent.
OSMA, as a body, rely on its motto, that is friendship through sports. To defend our military values, military identities, and training, there is a need to develop a close dynamic cooperation between the armed forces of this great continent.
The Vice President of OSMA, Jean-Pierre Opembe, thanked the Gambia Armed Forces for hosting the 4th Board of Directors meeting before giving a rundown of some of the activities and competitions by OSMA, as well as the importance of the Banjul Convergence. Presiding over the opening of the 4th board meeting, the Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Usman Baji, in turn registered his gratitude to the Organization of Military Sports in Africa for their trust and confidence in the Gambia Armed Forces to host this gathering. Sports, according to CDS Baji, forms an integral part of military life.
Sports has become an important integral part of military life, building skills, character, fitness, and boosting morale. At first, during the First World War, military authorities saw sports as a distraction, but from 1916, it was encouraged as a moral booster. Since then, it is becoming well organized in our various armed forces with the holding of many inter-services competitions here in the Gambia.
The Gambian CDS further challenged the delegates to come up with important roadmaps for the development of African military sport before declaring the event open.
The holding of various sporting activities represent unique opportunities to highlight the message of peace, stability, and unity. The various military sporting competitions also promote friendship and solidarity among African armed forces.
At that moment, the Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs, who is also the chairperson of the National Security Committee, made her way into the hall to grace the final part of the opening ceremony. Ajah Dr. Aissatou Njie Sedi was then decorated. The Vice President's decoration was followed by the decoration of the Head of State, which was received on his behalf by Vice President Ajah Dr. Aissatou Njie Sedi.
On behalf of His Excellency the President, Chief Professor Alhaji Dr. E.J.J. Jammeh, Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia Armed Forces and Minister of Defense, and may I say by extension on behalf of his government and the entire Gambian people, we want to first of all thank the organizers for having this meeting here, meeting of directors. And secondly, for the decorations given to the various officials, because other officials also benefited who are members of the organization. We want to congratulate them on His Excellency's behalf and on behalf of the Gambian people and his government. But besides that, we want to thank them as well for the award, as well as the decoration given to His Excellency the President, Chief Professor Alhaji Dr. E.J.J. Jammeh. I think it's a well-deserved, definitely, award. His Excellency has played a pivotal role in promoting sports in the military in this country, in promoting sports in general, even beyond the military, civilian sports, and in upgrading the status of the military of the Gambia, in ensuring that they are a military to reckon with.
The opening ceremony paved the way for the working session, and for the next 6 days, these military officials will strive to consolidate the gains of the organization over the past 2 decades and then brainstorm on the way forward for African military sports. Modes Diallo, GRT Sports.
From sports, we wind down this edition of the news with our headlines once again. President Jammeh has joined fellow world leaders in New York for the 68th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Deputies have kickstarted the 3rd meeting of the 2013 legislative year with the adoption of the Pan-African Parliament Statutory Committee report. The raging conflict in Syria is dominating day 1 of the 68th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. And authorities in Kenya have said security forces have completed operation against militants who lay siege to Nairobi's upscale Westgate shopping mall for 4 days. Well, that does it for this newscast. Thanks for your time and see you at 10 p.m. for another news bulletin. Until then, enjoy our programs. Bye-bye.